just had this lovely voice note from a friend, a dear friend, and she was ranting about some injustices that she's perceived in her workplace, and it's making her really angry, and she's a bit confused about why she's angry. And maybe not confused, but wondering where it's come from, why she's suddenly feeling all these feelings of anger. And when I heard her voice note, I was delighted because I was like, this sounds like healing to me, because when we become angry about things in our present, about injustices, and we have a sense of, why am I feeling so angry about these things? It can sometimes be as a result of our wounds healing. So if it feels somehow out of proportion, or we're not sure where it's coming from, it's because it's often linked to anger that we haven't expressed from our childhoods, from our past. And so the small child within ourselves is even on a subconscious level, perhaps, beginning to realize that there were injustices put upon us as children. There were things that were unfair that we felt angry about, but we weren't allowed to be angry about. We weren't allowed to express those angry feelings. We had to push them down and ignore them and silence our voices and pretend that we were not angry. But that anger stays within us, and it can come out in all sorts of different ways, often physical pains or medical problems that apparently have no root. And so when we finally allow ourselves to express that anger as adults, it can feel a bit uncomfortable, it can feel a bit strange. But to me, when I see this happening, I feel joy, because I know that it is part of a healing process. It's part of that inner child being finally able to express and acknowledge the anger that they're feeling. And it may take some time still to kind of connect the dots to see where that anger is linked to see some of the other roots of that anger. But being able to express it in the present moment and to make changes in our present environments that address the sources of the anger in the present can be incredibly healing, because it's almost like the healing reverberates through to the past. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's about the interconnectedness of all our feelings throughout our lives. And whenever we carry out a cycle in the present moment, it has reverberations and impacts on things that have happened in the past. So yes, and added to that, I was thinking about anger, because a lot of people feel uncomfortable expressing anger, but I think it is an incredibly important emotion. It's a really powerful emotion. And yes, it's important to express it properly, but it is important to express it because anger is our body's way of saying, and I think I've said this before, anger is our body's way of saying that something's wrong, that something needs changing. And if we can harness the energy of the anger feeling, then we can facilitate powerful change in the present moment.